October 1st, 2013. Glen Park Library, San Francisco. Between science fiction novels sits a 29-year-old man with his laptop. Medium-length hair, athletic build, unremarkable. At this moment, he controls an empire that has moved $1.2 billion. An empire most people don't even know exists. Then it happens. FBI agents in plain clothes enter the library. They've been waiting for this moment for 2 years. On his screen, the admin interface of Silk Road, the most dangerous online marketplace in the world. His name, Ross Ulbricht. His alias, Dread Pirate Roberts. His crime, he had created a platform where you could buy literally anything. Drugs, weapons, fake passports, hacking tools. Over 1 million users worldwide. And everything completely anonymous. What the agents don't yet know in this moment. On this laptop, they'll find evidence of things that will shock even them. Things that turned an idealistic physics student into one of the world's most wanted cybercriminals. But how does a Boy Scout from Texas become the godfather of the Darknet? How do you build a billion-dollar empire that no one can find? And what happens when the hunt begins? This is the story of Silk Road, and it's completely true. Ross William Ulbricht is born on March 27, 1984 in Texas. A completely normal kid from a good home. He's a Boy Scout, popular, intelligent. In 2002, he graduates high school and begins studying physics at the University of Texas at Dallas. But Ross is different. While his classmates think about careers at big tech companies, he devours libertarian philosophy. Ludwig von Mises, Friedrich Hayek. The idea of a free market without government control fascinates him. He wonders, what if people were truly free, without a government telling them what they can do? In 2006, he completes his physics degree with a bachelor's. He continues to Pennsylvania State University, earns his master's in crystallography. A brilliant scientist with a future. But in 2009, fresh master's degree in hand, his life takes a surprising turn. Ross wants to become an entrepreneur. Together with a friend, he founds Good Wagon Books, an online platform for used books. The special feature, part of the profit goes to social institutions. It's a noble project. It fails after 1 year. For Ross, this is a turning point. On LinkedIn in 2011, he writes a sentence that will later be used against him in court. I want to create an economic simulation that gives people the opportunity to live in a world without systematic violence. What does he mean by that? A world where the state doesn't interfere, where people decide for themselves what they buy, sell, consume. And then an idea comes to him. He's heard of something that could revolutionize the internet, the Tor network, a system that completely anonymizes users. No one can trace who you are or where you are. At the same time, there's Bitcoin, a digital currency where transactions can't be traced. Ross thinks, what if you combined both? He moves in with a friend in Silicon Valley. There, among the tech giants, he begins to code. At night, in secret, he creates something the world hasn't seen yet. A marketplace where truly free trade exists. Without rules, without control, without violence. He calls it Silk Road, like the ancient trade route that peacefully connected cultures. Early 2011, the site goes online. Ross posts in a magic mushroom forum, I came across this website called Silk Road. He pretends he just found it, as if he weren't the creator. But what begins as a philosophical experiment very quickly becomes something entirely different. Silk Road looks like Amazon. Professional, well-organized, product categories, reviews, seller ratings. You could buy books or clothes there, but nobody does. Within a few weeks, the platform explodes. Drug dealers from around the world flood in. Cocaine, heroin, MDMA, LSD, everything you can imagine. By 2013, drug trafficking makes up 70% of the 10,000 products offered. But there's more. Fake driver's licenses, fake passports, pirated copies, malware, hacked accounts, hacking services, weapons. Official rule: no goods whose purpose is to harm others. But who's supposed to control that? Ross runs the platform under the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts. named after a character from the movie The Princess Bride, who is repeatedly played by different people but keeps the same name. A clever trick. If they catch him, he can claim to be just one of many DPRs. In the beginning, there are actually still discussions on Silk Road about philosophy, about alternative market models, about freedom. Ross writes, "What we're doing isn't about dealing drugs or sticking it to the government. It's about standing up for our rights as human beings." But reality catches up with him. The money pours in. In Bitcoin, between February 2011 and July 2013, transactions worth 9.5 million Bitcoins are processed. Converted $1.2 billion. Ross himself earns commissions. About 15.8 million euros land in his accounts. The idealistic student becomes a millionaire. A millionaire who can't sleep at night anymore because he knows, somewhere out there, they're hunting him. Over 1 million people worldwide use Silk Road. It's the Amazon of the Darknet. And everyone knows, something like this doesn't stay undiscovered. In 2012, the authorities begin to move. FBI, the Homeland Security. They all want to shut down this marketplace. But how do you hunt someone you can't see? They infiltrate undercover investigators. Agents register as buyers, as sellers. They communicate with Dread Pirate Roberts. They try to gain his trust. Ross feels the pressure. He becomes more paranoid, more suspicious. And then something happens that changes everything. A member of Silk Road gets arrested. Curtis Green, one of his administrators. Ross fears that Green might talk, that he'll reveal real names. What Ross does next shows how far he's strayed from his original ideal. He hires a hitman, an assassin. Curtis Green is supposed to die. What Ross doesn't know, the hitman is an FBI agent. The authorities stage a murder. They send Ross photos of Curtis Green, apparently dead with strangulation marks on his neck. All fake, but Ross believes it. He pays $80,000 in Bitcoin. Later, he'll be charged with a total of 5 contract murders. None could ever be proven, but the intent was there. The dreamer from Texas has become a monster. October 1st, 2013, 3:15 p.m. Ross sits in the Glen Park Library in San Francisco, science fiction section. His laptop is open. He's logged in, as Dread Pirate Roberts, as administrator of Silk Road. What he doesn't know, the FBI has found him. How exactly they tracked him down is still not fully clear to this day. Some say Ross made a mistake, a post under his real name in a forum where he promoted Silk Road. Others suspect the NSA cracked Tor networks. The truth remains in the dark. But on this day, that doesn't matter anymore. FBI agents in plain clothes enter the library. They have a plan. They need to catch Ross while he's logged in. Otherwise, they can't prove he's DPR. One agent distracts him, fakes an argument with his partner. Loud, dramatic. Ross looks up. In that second, another agent grabs his laptop. Ross tries to hit the key combination that encrypts everything. Too late. They've got him. On the screen, the admin panel of Silk Road, his pseudonym, his messages, everything. The agents search his apartment. What they find exceeds their expectations. Diaries in which Ross meticulously documented his actions. Passwords, financial records, evidence of the contract murders. The next day, Silk Road is taken offline. A message appears on the site. This hidden site has been seized by the FBI. The empire has fallen. But for Ross, the real nightmare is just beginning. The trial begins in January 2015 in Manhattan. The charges are overwhelming. Drug trafficking, money laundering, computer fraud, operating a criminal enterprise with more than 5 people, conspiracy to commit murder for hire. Ross pleads not guilty. His defense argues, he did found Silk Road, but from idealistic motives. And he withdrew early. Others continued the platform. He was lured back and then used as a scapegoat. The jury doesn't believe him. After 4 hours of deliberation, the verdict comes guilty on all 7 counts. Before sentencing, Ross tells the judge, "I made a terrible mistake. I know you must take the middle years of my life, but I'm asking you for my old age. Leave me a small light at the end of the tunnel. The judge is merciless. May 29, 2015. The sentence, 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Without possibility of early release. Without parole. Ross Ulbricht is never supposed to get out. U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara declares, Ulbricht's arrest and conviction should send a clear message to anyone attempting to operate an online criminal enterprise. The supposed anonymity of the dark web is not a shield. But outside, resistance is forming. Under the slogan Free Ross, supporters fight for his release. Libertarians see him as a political prisoner. The crypto community reveres him as a pioneer who showed that Bitcoin works. His mother, Lynn Ulbricht, becomes his loudest voice. She travels across the country, gives interviews, collects signatures. Years pass. Ross sits in prison. His appeals are rejected. It looks hopeless. Then, in 2024, something unexpected happens. Donald Trump, campaigning for his second presidency, promises support to the crypto community. In May 2024, he says at a speech, "If I'm elected, I will help Ross Ulbricht." The crypto industry donates millions to Trump's campaign. Trump wins the election. January 21, 2025. Trump has been in office for just 1 day. He posts on Truth Social, "I called Ross Ulbricht's mother to tell her that her son is being pardoned in honor of the libertarian movement." He calls the conviction ridiculous and insults the prosecutors as scum and lunatics. Ross Ulbricht is free. After over 11 years in prison, he leaves jail. 41 years old. Half his adult life behind bars. Ross Ulbricht is a free man today. But his story raises questions that remain unanswered to this day. Was he an idealist who wanted to realize a dream of freedom? Or a ruthless criminal who ordered contract killings? Was his sentence just 2 life sentences for a crime without direct violence? Or was he the scapegoat in a war against the Darknet? And what does his pardon mean? A victory for freedom? Or a dangerous signal that with enough money and political influence, you can undo even the most serious crimes? Silk Road is long gone. But the platform changed the internet forever. It showed that anonymous trade is possible. It made Bitcoin mainstream. And it proved that the Darknet is real and dangerous. Today there are dozens of successors. Bigger, more professional, harder to catch. The question isn't whether it will happen again. The question is, how many Ross Ulbrichts are out there that we don't know about yet? What do you think? Was Ross a criminal or a visionary? Should he have gotten life? Or was the pardon right? Write it in the comments. If you like this story, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. The next case is even crazier. A hacker who infiltrated NASA at 15, and what the government did to him next you won't believe. Until next time, stay vigilant.